What is going on, guys? This is BlazBlue Gaming with my review of BlazBlue Alter Memory episode 9. And this episode, it was good, but to me it felt like it could have been better. So it starts off with Hazuma and Phantom, and they were standing in front of the Imperator. And Hazuma was saying that about how Her Majesty has just awakened, and he was commenting about the fallen soldiers of the NOL and about how their souls have gathered. And we see like this giant altar on top of like on some building, I guess you could say, because we see like this beautiful blue sky, around it. And so he was saying that how it was time for the plan to go into motion, because now that they have all these souls in one place, they could do what they want to do. And so while they were like walking away, he was commenting about Tsubaki and her weapon, and about the Imperator. So clearly, these two characters are going to play a major role in whatever he has schemed up. So then we go to Ragna, who is still looking for Noelle, because he actually wants to protect her now after learning that Hazuma wants her. And we see that she is not that far behind, because we have her and Makoto sneaking around. But here's where something very interesting happens, where we have Lychee, who's in the sewers, and she clearly is looking for something, and she sensed that the seether, which was once pretty light, is now very thick in this area. And so Hazuma actually finds her, and he's impressed that she found this place. And so then we have Arakune, who has appeared, and Lychee calls him Roy. And Hazuma actually said something very important about how even though this guy came so close to the Azure, he was just one step from becoming the Black Beast. So even though this guy is a failure, he is still very close to the Black Beast. And so now he was saying that if Lychee actually joins up with him or comes to his side, then he can give her hope, which will be turning Roy back to who he used to be. So even though they did not show this flashback between them, it's obvious that they do have some kind of past together. And so for like most of the episode, we have Makoto and Noelle. They're like walking around and talking, and we learned that apparently Hazuma, even though he has such a high rank, he is somebody that does not exist. And to be honest, he actually didn't exist in this world till Noelle looked at him, because she kind of had like the eyes of the world, you can say, and she recognized his existence. So she kind of like brought him to life in a sense, but at the same time she didn't. So now Makoto has contacted possibly the worst person he could have, because even though Hazuma definitely should not have Noelle, Kokonoe doesn't really need her either. But she made this one comment about Lambda, which is very important, because she was saying that she was actually having a dream, even though her memory should have been erased. But it's like the soul inside of her is so much alive and human-like that it actually had the memory locked inside of it that cannot be erased. And it's just so sad to see a character that is so human-like. Because obviously, Lambda is definitely more human-like than Mu. So it's sad to see that she being used like this by Kokonoe, because you cannot help but feel, kind of bad for her that she is stuck with like somebody so horrible. Because really, like, even though Kokonoe is hard to read, you can't help but feel that she's just like a horrible character from the way she experiments on Lambda. At least that's right there how I feel. Maybe people actually like that. Maybe people actually like Kokonoe. But at this point, I don't like her character at all. I could care like less about her character. But now she had made this rendezvous point between Tager to take Noelle to safety. But Tager actually gets there first, only to be met with Hazuma instead. And I was hoping that they would show that fight, because we see, when it starts, Tager throws his punch, but that is all we see, because we see Jin, who actually makes an appearance, and I don't know how long it's been since we've seen him, but he actually back now, and he's still looking for Ragna, but he was met by Tsubaki instead. And at least we got a good fight out of them, because to me their fight was good. And I do feel bad for Tsubaki because, you know, she was losing her life till it was eventually gone. But at least we see Jin, you know, finally go back to the character he used to be, because during their fight, he had remembered what Junbei said, and this whole power of order. And even though, you know, his sword was once controlling him, he is now back in control, and he was finally able to unsheath the sword. And it seems now that his sword, or you know, his powers with the sword, is as powerful as they have ever been, or at least, you know, that we have seen so far. But during their fight, he actually said, you know, some pretty interesting things about how people that were, you know, against this war that they had were actually killed by the NOL itself. It's like you have to do what they say or you'll die. So it's kind of like Jin had no choice but to go along with this whole war, even though he might be against it himself. He still had no choice but to do it. And you could just see Tsubaki was like getting so confused. But then at one point, we see Jin like slash his sword once, and we see this ice moving toward her, and like an idiot, she didn't bother to move out the way, and so the sword hit her and it froze her in place. But Jin wasn't going to kill her, even though he's gone back to being, you know, somewhat crazy. But once the ice broke and she fell to the ground, we see that her uniform is now black. And of course that means, you know, all the light has been, you know, taken from her. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually like her uniform in a black color more than I like it in the normal like brownish color, I guess you can say, like a brown yellowish color. I definitely like it more when it's black, because to me that looks so much better on her. It makes her look more like a badass, to be honest with you. So now that Jin is gone, because, you know, he had no business with her, because his real target is Ragna. He's like waiting for him, and Ragna, you know, just got to the building because he like earlier he made a comment about, you know, rather than protecting Noel, since that wasn't really him, it's better if he just go, you know, kick Hazuma butt, because that way he can't get her. And then we have Junbei, who actually appeared for the first time since he made that comment to Jin, and he was saying that Ragna can do whatever he wants as long as he doesn't die. And that is basically, you know, what he was saying here. And then we have Valkenheim and Rachel. They were like looking on as well. And so now that Ragna has gone in, we see that this mist is kind of taking over the area. And that is when Jin appears. So clearly, you know, in the next episode, we're going to have a full power Jin, because now he has full mastery over his weapon going against Ragna. So their fight is going to be a lot better than the first time we saw them. And we have Tsubaki, who was in despair because, you know, she's blind now. So she would like walk around and stumble into a pillar. But then we have the Imperator herself. She has come to Tsubaki to give her back hope. And so you never know, like this Imperator could be so powerful that she might actually restore her eyesight so that she can continue to serve like the server. Because obviously, you know, Tsubaki does have some importance, even though she has failed not once, not twice, but, well, actually, you know, I'm guessing the first time that she killed Jin and the world, you know, rewinds itself. I'm guessing that right there would count. So she has failed twice now. But when Makoto and Noel actually got to the meeting place, we just see Tager, who is a huge guy. He's like a freaking tank. He was just beat into a pulp. You just see that he is messed up. So obviously Hazuma is powerful, and I don't know what Makoto thinks she can do, but maybe we can actually see Hazuma fight her this time, and it won't skip like they did with the Tager battle. At least I'm hoping so. But yeah, like this episode could have been better if they would have showed us more, but it wasn't bad, so I'll give it like an okayish rating. But as always, guys, don't forget to like the video and subscribe, because that really helps me out. But as always, you guys take it easy, and I'll see you all next time.